this is deep. And Sky would be laughing at me because I'd be like, this is deep. But it is very deep. Um, I'm realizing very profoundly that what I do, as far as like occupation and that kind of stuff, is not my identity. And because I've spent a good amount of years really identifying myself by what I do, that I'm realizing how lost consciously I've become by having all of my life kind of pertain to what I do, even traveling to a degree. And recently, the past, I want to say, few days that I've been alone and just writing and reconnecting, I'm realizing how much of that thing I am not. Even now, like, it's been a struggle to take photos and document what it is that I'm doing, because I'm realizing I don't travel for that purpose, and that a true separation is in fact required, because I find myself, let's say this trip for example, I didn't come to Costa Rica for a month to, necessarily take photos. I came because I wanted a change of environment. I needed to get away from America. I think I mentioned that in the last video I did. I just really needed a change of programming. And now that I've obtained that, I'm here. I'm absolutely enjoying what's being revealed to me, but it's kind of a bittersweet feeling. As I'm walking here, I'm in, it's called Ujaras, Ruinas. I believe it's the oldest church in Costa Rica. It's behind me. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I walked about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, to get here from where I'm staying. And I saw something that I was like, oh, let me get my camera out. And I'm still very hesitant to just be present and photograph. And it's not because I'm not a great photographer or anything like that, but I just don't feel completely called to do it all the time anymore, especially when I'm not required to. And, being in America, I'm realizing that the emphasis is totally, totally, totally upon what we can provide to make money. And all of our training is in that sphere of what can you do to make money. And I'm so grateful that I have had the opportunity to use such a skill set like, production and photography, to be able to, give me the life that I have, where I can go somewhere for a month. But now that I'm here and I'm very hesitant to take photos, or I don't feel that passion or that vigor that I once did, I'm realizing it's because my mission or my purpose goes beyond what I do for a living. And if I don't really take that serious and start to separate the two, it'll take me down a road of like where I can probably start hating what I do. And hate is a strong word. Maybe I can use a different word, but not hating, but just not wanting to do what it is that I think I'm supposed to do. And every day that I wake up here, I'm realizing my purpose is much more deeper than my camera, even much more deeper than the places I find myself physically. And I needed to say this and make this and start to just be honest about who I am and where I think I'm going, because, I listen to a lot of Jiddu Krishnamurti when the time calls, and I love his teachings, and I'm reading his book. I forgot the name of it because it's not coming to me. I didn't bring it with me. It's about my third time reading the book. I don't want to butcher it, but it's a book that's composed of a bunch of his different talks, and and speeches over time. And the biggest thing that I've got from him is we only are how we are, in this sense of just what we do, where we go, who, all of that is because we think. And so I've been writing a lot in my journal about do I want something or these things, or do these things want me? And where do these desires to want these things come from in the first place? Are they mine? Were they mine? Was it something that I've been programmed so long to want that now that I think it's mine? Like, do I think that I want X, Y, and Z because I think that I want it, or is it because I was told and brought up to desire these things? And my camera, which is with me now, it's actually the tripod for my phone. So I have it with me, it's here, but that passion to want to photograph or document what I'm doing or where I am is not there. And I brought all my gear with me this time. I bought my tripod, I bought 2 cameras, I bought a contraption to even go around my chest for my phone to help me better document. And since the beginning of the year, I've been like, man, I want to really step into my photography more, as I'm learning that it's not about taking pretty pictures, it's about telling stories if I want to evolve. But I don't even have the desire at the moment to want to sit and really learn what that requires. And as I'm walking and I'm like, man, what potential stories can I tell photographically? What can I say? What can I tell people back home about my experience? And that's far from what I actually want to do. This is for me. If you want to experience something like this, as far as like, changing yourself and reprogramming yourself, you got to do it on your own. And so I no longer have that desire to like share what I'm doing in the ways that I used to share before, which is through photography and video and things like that. Again, like I said, I got all my gear with me, but I'm not really, wanting or feeling the need to do it like I once did. And maybe because this I don't know, can't even quite describe it. It also, I think, has a lot to do with the environment that I'm in. Where I'm staying here in the mountains, it's just small town vibes, mini pueblos and people walking around. It doesn't feel like the feeling that I get when I'm in Thailand or Cuba or even parts of Mexico, where the environments that I'm in are so stimulating that it also stimulates my desire to want to photograph. Here it's very quiet, it's very chill, it's very relaxed. There's not a lot going on. And so I'm just having this realization now that I'm saying this. So maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's because I'm in such a low stimulating, in a great way, environment that maybe for the first time in a long time, especially since, they locked us down for 2 years, that I don't have to perform. That I don't have to want to like, oh my God, I got to take these photos because I need to show people back at home. That it's almost like saying the photos are proof of my investment in myself, when now I know it has nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? The last video I did, I mentioned how people are like, man, I can't wait to see what you do as far as the photos when you get back. And the greatest thing I'll ever come back with is more of myself, a greater version of myself, a more evolved, a more wise, more peaceful, more present human being. And that's probably all that I ask of maybe anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the friends that I have because of what they do. And, I edit real estate podcasts and real estate educational content. So it's interesting because the last video I edited, the guy was talking about like your sphere of influence. And that has been on my mind too. Like, they talk about the people that you are friends with or that are part of your circle basically will determine where you go, what you do, and basically even how much money you make in your life. And then as I look at that video and I look at the people and I look at, well, yeah, of course, because your mission here is to have money. Your mission here is to think that somehow, some way, when you die, it's going to go with you. Your mission is to own and occupy. So yeah, you're going to have friends that kind of mimic the same thing. And my friends, though I have very little friends, I'm realizing, I think yesterday I was sitting on the porch and I was like, wow, I have probably, and I have friends, of course, right? I have way more associates than friends. But like when I want to say close friends now, even beyond, I lost a lot of close relationships after 2022, and by design. It wasn't no need to do anything besides just simply allow things to unfold how they needed to unfold. And I have always been okay with being alone, even though I'm finding out my mission requires me to be around people, with people, and to help people. So I'm working on that. But there are two human beings that that take the time out of their day, aside from my family, that literally communicate with me. Two. One's in Chicago, one's in LA. That's Skyra and Hoya. Those are the only two human beings on this planet that actually, like, literally check up on me. Complete straight up friends, like complete, no strings attached. No, I'm friends with you because of this, da, da, da. And of course I got other friends, but I'm talking about simply people who literally just like, hey Bree, you good? What's up? What you doing? Like, talk about all different kinds of things, and who we can communicate openly about the universe and what I ate last night. You know what I mean? Like that type of ordeal. And so being very cautious about who I call friends, or even saying that term, is becoming so important to me, because words create our reality. And I'm probably the only person that I know who has the ability to be this alone all the time. Like I am alone a lot. And at times it's on purpose, and at times it's not. And as much as I love humans, and I know, like I said, a bit ago, that my purpose is to definitely help humans evolve to some degree. I know that God has been kind of been Rubik's Cube in my life. Of course, without the component of time, but I'm at the point now where I'm very conscious of it, where I'm like, damn, like, this had to move this way so that I can move this way. This person had to go this way so that way I can move forward. And I mean deep relationships. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Even, someone who I considered my best friend since college, her and I haven't spoken in months without any type of, like, there's no ill will. There's nothing like that. There's no bad feelings. It's not about that. It's just literally like, I am on a different frequency, and they are also on a different frequency. I had a very long relationship with someone, a good friend, that I had stopped being friends with in October because of her vibe. And I've seen it the whole time, but then, as I'm sure people see things in me, right? But I saw it the whole time, and then one of the last times I was in LA, I just was like, no, you're not. For us to be the age that we are, and she was, definitely a good couple years older than I, I was just like, no, there's no way. Humans change. Oh my God, we change. Oh my God, we change. It is our requirement to change. We will forever change. Everything changes. So it's not a matter of like, will this, will people, this person in particular, like change? I know they will. Some of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met in my life were also the most difficult, hands down. And because we are human and because we go to sleep every day and we wake up, we hear again, we have no choice but to change, even if from the outside it doesn't look like we are. And before I make this video too long and it gets too off topic, I'm saying all of that to say that I'm learning my identity, and simply that I really don't have an identity, that based off how I dress or based off what I like to do at times, that doesn't really create the entirety of who I am. And as I sit here in the middle of nowhere, like always, in Costa Rica with these incredible ruins behind me, and thinking, man, where did my desire to take photos go? Like, why am I not uberly excited to do that? And it's because this is not what that is about. It's because the more that I evolve and grow, the more I realize photography and everything else that I do are simply, literally simply, and I mean this very literally, are just tools. It's just a way for me to get wherever else that I need to go. And although I've known this, I don't think America allows me to sit and ponder this deeply enough where I can really consciously, I don't want to say attach, but realize that that's what's happening. Like, you know, when you meet someone at home, it's like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? Because that's all most people have. If you took away people's jobs, they'd literally die. That's crazy. People would die if you took away their job. And I don't mean to laugh, but I'm seeing the buffoonery that we deal with in the States on a daily, yearly, generational, in a generational way. Like, wow, like my grandparents still function this way, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, the subconscious and the higher self is so vast, and when we make things so small and minute to the point where our entire existence becomes this small thing, that small thing is no longer a reality, we will die. You know, and I'm not saying me because I know the difference, but collectively, culturally, we will die. And it's why so many people are so like, I need to have this car, I need to have this house, I need to have this family, I need to marry this person, I need to, because if you don't, then you literally will not know who you are. I never ever want to play that game anymore, to no degree. I don't ever want to play the game where if someone looks at me, which I'm sure they do because you're programmed to, looks at me and is like, oh, because you don't have X, Y, and Z, that means you're this. Or because you do have this, that means you're that. And nowadays, you know, with all that's coming out, with just the craziness in the world, you know, all these celebrities and people were like, oh my God, celebrities, people with money. And I got money too, but you know what I mean? Like, people with money, somehow, some way, they're better than me. And let little behold, they're the most fucking crazy, toxic, most horrible human beings in the world. And yet somehow, some way, we've developed this block. You know what I'm saying? This block of like, no, I guess it's okay because they look like they're good people, because in America, what's considered good is money and wealth and prominence and owning things. Our Euro fucking PM programming, yo. And as melanated human beings, we have gotten so lost in their realm, so lost in their minuscule concept of existence, and it has nothing to do with skin color. Nothing to do with skin color. You know, black folks was ruling Europe too. It ain't skin colors, concepts. It is concept. You know what I'm saying? When I say melanated, I say that for the simple fact of like location and region and looking at how other people function. It is. I'm gonna cut this because I really wanted to just reveal that sometimes, although it may be uncomfortable for me right now, it's uncomfortable because I'm waking up more and more and more, and I'm realizing what I do or what it is that I say that I do and how I make my money right now is not my identity. It means that don't approach me with the idea that what I do will be all that you'll get from me, because it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like you'll be very, 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 very highly surprised to ever approach me wanting to only see me from that perspective. And I know that I'm here to lead by example. I'm not here to tell people what to do, which is why I'm learning to talk about myself. I used to journal a lot in a perspective of like they, you, they, me, I. What am I doing? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? So I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, which is why I didn't one time say anything about how other human beings should function. But I know I'm required by God to lead by example. And if you feel this, if you're in a space where you too are like, damn, I enjoy what I do, even if you don't, just realizing that what you do, I'm going to say I because it feels better, that what I do is not me. What I do is not me.